Hello everybody, Math 274, and we're on week 2. All right, so good to see you guys. Hopefully you are settled in and getting used to everything, hopefully. Let's see here, announcements. All right, so let's see how everyone is doing so far. So on week 2, not a whole lot is going on. I did enter the point for the discussion for week 1. And that's about it. All right, so you're not seeing a whole lot of points. Now, some of you get a little bit worried when you see that you have a low grade. Okay, so something for you guys to keep in mind when you look at a grade book. Okay. Number 1, do not look at the letter grade, because the letter grade means nothing. Okay? The letter grade doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that it's grade that you're going to get. Okay? Regardless whether you're seeing an A or an F. All right? It means absolutely nothing. Okay? What you should look at, okay, and keep track of every week when you look at your grade book, is your point total. Okay, point total determines whether you pass or not and what grade you're going to get. Okay, you pass when you reach 700. Okay, and if you reach 800, that's going to be a B. 900, it's going to be an A. Okay, so that's the only thing you should look at, is how many points you have. All right. And in this class, the objective of this class is to score as many points as quickly as possible before time runs out. All right? This is a 7-week class. It goes really quickly. Okay? So any points that you can earn, you should grab it ASAP. Don't wait. Don't sit on it. Okay? The points out there, get it. All right? Because in a class like this, points are not necessarily easy to get. Okay? So, for example, okay, most of you posted on week 1 discussion and you get your 5 points. All right? If you haven't, you should. All right? And I'm going to talk about discussion in a little bit. Okay, there's an issue with discussion, especially for this class, that I'm going to address. All right, but all I'm saying is discussion is going to be the easiest point in this class. Seriously, I know you look at the question as like, that's not easy, but I'm telling you, it is. Okay, and you should never give up on posting on discussion. Okay, always post on discussion. Always get your points from discussion. All right, so your initial post, okay, and 6 responses over 3 different days to earn your participation. Okay, the participation points are also easy. Okay, even though you're asking yourself, how can I respond 6 times to a dry topic like this? Okay, to a math problem. All right, you can. I'm gonna give you guys some tips. Okay, when I talk about discussion. All right, but you should not give up those points. All right, you should post them as soon as you can. so that when I go into the gradebook, okay, to update the points, you get 20 out of 20 in your discussion, in your participation. All right, make that your goal. 20 out of 20. Okay, some people, they do every week they get 20 out of 20. All right, there's no excuse, because not only are they easy, they can be, okay, and I'm going to tell you how to make it easy for yourself, okay, but they're going to keep you afloat. Okay, you get the 30 points from discussion every week. Okay, it's going to keep your grades up. All right, so now all you have to worry about would be your homework and things like that. All right, so do not give up easy points. So let's talk about discussion. When you look at the question for week 1 and now on week 2, maybe you're not sure how to answer it. It's like, I don't know the answer to this question. All right, some of you, you guys look up information on how to answer it, all right, and post an answer to it. All right, that's fine. But if anyone wants to post on discussion, I don't need to see a perfect answer. All right, to get points on discussion, even on your initial post, you don't have to give me the perfect answer. Okay, if you don't know how to answer a question, you can do the best you can. You can say, well, from what I gathered, I think this is how I should do it. Or if it's a math problem, give me a best shot to solve it. Well, but what if it's wrong? Don't worry. Okay, think about it. If we all sit together in a classroom and I put a question on the board and I ask you, so you guys, what do you think? Some of you raise your hand and answer. Okay, well, maybe you didn't answer it correctly. Am I going to take points off because you answered something wrong in class? No. All right, same thing here. Think about it as a classroom discussion. Okay, you raise your hand, you give me your best shot. Okay, you give me your best answer to the question. Whether it's right or wrong, I'll give you credit for it. Seriously. Okay, I mean, think about discussion. A lot of people would discuss topics that they know nothing about, right? So give me a best shot, even if you don't have it 100% correct. As long as it's a reasonable response to the question, I'll give you points for it. I won't even just give you partial. I give you full credit. Okay, I don't give partial credits on discussion posts. It's like you either did it or you didn't. Okay, it's almost like a participation thing. Okay, give me the best answer to the question, I'll give you 5 points. All right, so do not give up on discussion points. Do not post because you don't know how to do, you don't know how to answer the question, or your answer is not a perfectly correct answer. I don't care if it's a perfectly correct answer. I just want to see you post. All right? You post, you get 5 points. Simple as that. Now, participation. It's like, well, so I did the math problem. How am I supposed to respond 6 times to someone's answer? Well, you can comment on their answer, oh yeah, that looks right, or I'm not sure if that's correct because when I did the math, when I checked your math, I did. Okay, there are several ways to respond to someone's answer. Okay, And on top of that, if you notice on week 1, I post additional topics in the form of comments, okay, that allows you to respond to for more participation credit. Okay, so discussion 1, question 1, I posted my favorite example of 5 neighborhood kids, and they buying snack, and they look at the money they have, and we are comparing the mean and the median. Plenty of things you can say about it. Okay, so read my comments, because usually sometimes there may be additional questions or topics you can talk about. Okay, your response doesn't have to be responding on the discussion question. You can respond to anything I said. All right, and I'm not picky about the topics you guys. I mean, I've had people who talk about, the way that I understand this in the textbook, and my textbook is not, or blah blah blah, or I'm not quite understanding this part, blah blah blah. You can actually, discuss with each other to learn about a topic. So you can look at someone's post and say that, oh, I kind of see where you're coming from, and I'm getting a better understanding of the topic. Perfect. All right, you can respond to my post and talk about something else. You can talk about anything anyone else brought up. Okay, I'm okay with that. Some people start talking their personal stories. As long as it's loosely related, to the topic on hand, I'm okay with that. Just say something. All right, discussion and participation are the easiest points in this class. I am very loose on what you write. The only requirement is that it needs to be at least 75 words long. So give me 2 to 3 sentences of something. All right, if you give me 1 sentence, or just say, thank you, or good comments, that's hard for me to credit you. But discussion, participation are the easy points in this class, and so please don't give it up. All right, so the other thing I want to mention, and this is also something that may be causing some stress on your part, and that is the homework. The homework, the scores are posted in the gradebook even before you're done with it. So what the heck, right? Well, it is a setting that is set to post when you open. All right, but the thing about the points, because some of you are looking at 0 out of 50 for homework 1, but I'll assure you that as you work on that assignment, as you go, the point will update. All right, so if you keep going, your 0 out of 50 is going to become 50 out of 50 pretty soon when you finish. All right, so don't stress over that. All right, just make sure that you keep working on it. Okay. Okay. So for a class like this, I know that some of you may get a little worried about how you're going to finish this class, how you're going to manage and complete this class, all right? Because there are challenges in this class. One is that it's 7 weeks long, so it goes by super quick. And 2, it seems like a lot of stuff to do, okay? So all I can tell you is this, all right? So make sure that you keep moving along, okay? Don't get stuck anywhere, all right? Post on discussion every week. Try to get all the points, done before the end of the week, all right? Even though I would give you credit if if you're late. But posts on discussion will help carry you through in terms of points, and that's also one less thing that you have to worry about falling behind it. All right, so get a discussion going, and then just work on your homework problem, okay, and just consistently work on it. Okay, don't spend all day and then take 3 days off. No, that's not a good way to do it. Just consistently work on it as you go. Okay, now I think I set the due dates such that you should be able to go back and work on homework from previous week. If you have not finished week 1, you can still go back and work on it. All right, now if you're not able to get in, okay, if it locks you out, then send me a message. I'll be more than happy to open it up and let you continue. All right. The key, once again, is to do consistent work. All right. You don't have to finish everything by the end of the week, but keep moving. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this week's assignments. So discussion question. Once again, you do not need to have the perfect answer to post. All right, but I'll give you some tips on how to answer this week's question. So question 1, it asks you to go to a website, generate 50 random integers. Okay, record your numbers and calculate the mean, the median, the mode, the variance, and standard deviation using Excel. All right. Okay, so you don't know how to use Excel. Well, I think you can do it without using Excel. Okay, you can just generate the 50 numbers from the website and then manually calculate the mean, the median, the mode, the variance, and the standard deviation if you're not an Excel user. There are other web calculators that will do it for you. All right, as a matter of fact, I think there's one called if you Google standard deviation calculator, it's a website. You can actually throw in 50 numbers into the box and click calculate, and it'll give you all the statistics. All right, so do it any way that works for you. All right. I also posted in my comments, okay, that says Excel file is not required for this exercise, and kind of give you guys a web calculator, a link to a web calculator. All right. So I'm not picky about how your answers come out. Okay, I just want to see you give it a try. All right, and even if it doesn't look right, you can post it and say, I did this and I'm not sure if it's right, but this is the best I can get. Guess what? 5 points. Okay. And also, on the first question of this week, I posted another post I posted is about last week's live session. Did you watch it? Respond to that. I'll count that as your participation. Okay, so okay, question 2. So question 2 is a probability question. Okay, so you have a deck of cards and you are asked to guess the suit and the rank, the card. Okay, so 3 questions. First question is, what is the probability that you will guess both the suit and the rank correctly? Second question is the probability that you guess the suit correctly but not the rank. And third would be the probability that you guess the rank correctly but not the suit. Okay, so in my comment, I gave you some tips to do that. Okay, so this one does not need Excel. All right, you can do it by hand easily. So for part 1, okay, probability of A and B is the probability of A times the probability of B. All right, so if you know their respective probabilities, you just multiply them. Part 2, probability of not A equals to 1 minus the probability of A. So to find the probability that you guess the suit correctly but not the rank, okay, you can just count how many cards out of the total that you got right or you didn't get right, and that would be a probability. All right. And lastly, flip your A and B from part 2. Okay, so switch the numbers and redo part 2. Okay, but once again, even if you don't know the answer, you give me a best shot. All right, that's even if it's incorrect, you get 5 points. Okay. All right. Okay. I think that's all I got. Let's see, what else do we have? So looking ahead, just look ahead. In terms of assignments, okay. So week 1, week 2, and then we're gonna all right, so week 1, week 2, week 3, okay, the first 3 weeks, all we have are discussion and homework, okay? And now week 4 is when we have our midterm exam, all right? Midterm exam, it has a review that goes with it, okay? So you do the review, it should give you an idea of what the exam is like, it should help prepare you for it. So and then week 5, week 6 is when we have the project. I will give you instructions on how to do the project. Okay. And then week 7 is the final exam. Now, these assignments, even though they're assigned on that week, okay, but you can turn all of them in by May 3rd. All right. So the midterm doesn't have to be done by week 4. The final doesn't have to be done by the end of week 7, and the project does not have to be done by the end of week 6. All right, all of those assignments can be turned in as long as I get them by May 3rd. Okay, then they will be accepted. All right, so just do the best you can. If you get stuck on homework problems, you need help, okay, follow the built-in help within ALEKS. Okay, ALEKS has very good built-in help. But if you want me to take a look, okay, I'll be more than happy to take a look as well. So send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to take a look. And if I need to adjust any points, okay, I can also do that. All right, so that's all I got for tonight. So we'll be back on week 3 next week. All right, so in the meantime, if you need to reach me, just feel free to reach out, on Messenger or on the problem, or on on Halo, on email. Okay, all those places, you can reach me through. All right, so enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a good night.